Hello? Alright. Hopefully all my audio is fine. I have to relearn how to draw my own OC because I want to animate her. So I've just got like references pulled up. Honestly, I should just do this like how I usually do. I just don't want it to be too messy. Iconic anime bangs. Must. Oh, dogs are going off. Cool. Oh, wrong color. I have to remember to put her eyes lower because she's got like 2 sets. I guess I should just move her eyebrows up. Ooh, thin them out. Sorry, Emmy. Recently changed some of my shortcuts, so if you see me randomly flipping, well, actually I just flip a lot, so. Now I need the green. Oh, she's got like a rather thin face. She's got some lashes. I think the first time I drew her, I gave her more of a defined lip shape. Or at least I knew her upper lip was there, but I'm not sure if she had much of a bottom lip. Yeah, that looks more like her, okay. Let's get that one out of here. Once I get a feel for how she looks again, I think we'll hop into Toon Boom and then give that a go. So I have to do a bit of a breakdown for her body. I'm not very good at making like ref sheets and what have you, or like model sheets, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm always just like going off vibes, which ends up shooting me in the leg like while I'm animating. So hopefully this time around I can make something decent. Watching me forget how horses look in real time. Fucked up hand feet, as usual. That's interesting. Hang on. Oh, I had accidentally disabled the chat function, so that's fun. I think it should be back on now. Cool. Yeah, I had disabled it. Because I was like, why is my chat not letting me type? That's weird. Anyhow, so Emmy, your weird ass horse body. Let me get the first image I had like properly drawn of her, because I think that's like the only full body. D&D, Golden Dreams, Amaran. Yay, each other's back, yep. Alright, Emmy, let's get that. Everyone shut up. No one gets to talk, ever. Do I make myself clear? Good. Yeah, apparently, if you, because I guess mine was automatically set to kids mode, or like, yes, this is appropriate for children. And so that just means like the chat function gets fucked off. Alright, that's Emmy right there. I believe I've made myself clear. Do I have other drawings of Amaran full-bodied. Let's see. Let's peruse the doodles. Nar? Clear? Hehe, Pedret. No, I think this is the only thing I have of her that's like proper full body. At least from what I remember. Alright. That's fine. Give me this layer! Thank you. I love how it's like, come hang, come chat in like the title of the thumbnail, and I disabled chat. That's so silly of me. Whoopsie. Hi. Wrong and incorrect, you don't, so maybe like jot that down. Okay, you know what? Because I'm gonna need this nasty green, so let's just leave that there. For now, we just need the red. Yeah. If I turn the sensitivity too down, then it doesn't pick up my voice. So my clickety clacks are just actually me speaking. I'm just doing that naturally with my voice. That's just like a special quirky thing that I can do. So, you know. Oh, Emmy, I love your weird hand feet. Truly the sexiest part of you. Like, if you agree. And if you don't, you're stupid and silly and wrong. Hi, B. Haven't seen you in a minute, but then again, I haven't been here in a minute. See my little, I was actually gonna make like a proper VTuber thing, and then I didn't account for longer messages in my chat box. You know what? Just leave it. Just accept it. Anyhow, I was gonna have like a proper like VTuber model, like I had made it and started rigging it and everything, but then I really enjoyed how this one looked. Because I was like, wow, that's just like so silly and small and cute. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. Your ass is going into you, that's okay. Yeah, it's actually just part of the aesthetic, part of the idea. Move. Okay, let's get your shape down. Emmy. Got this little moment going on. Don't know if I'll make it this big necessarily, but Have to have the long ass neck. Damn, Emmy, you're dummy thick. Joking. Yeah, it also doesn't help the fact that my keyboard is loud as fuck. Yeah, she was a villain for a D&D campaign that I ran about the horse movie girl trope. I ran a campaign for my friends, and they were all like teenagers in high school that got magic powers and could talk to their horses all of a sudden. And yeah, it was a whole thing. I think I've spoken about it several times on stream. Obsessed with this character after doing that campaign. Just like, she's always living in my head. There isn't a day that goes by that I'm not like thinking about her. Not to brag. Yeah, 2 of the mods, Rune and Mouse, they were in the campaign. And then 2 of our other friends. Oh, so you've turned around now? You've turned around? You went from Amaran? Never. Now love. I could have sworn by the end of that campaign you were still like on the fence. Or at least like, okay, you weren't like, fuck Emmy. Fuck everything. Like, I know you guys felt some sympathy towards her, but mom status? I don't know. She's a bit of a wreck. Yeah, she's an absolute disaster lesbian in like the worst way. Yeah, I feel like she's got more aunt vibe. She is the rich aunt with the drinking problem. No, I will not. Oh, no, I won't. I was like, do I give her like the skin tight turtleneck that I loved? No, I won't. I won't. No. Okay, it's fine. Oh. Lock. Okay. Listen, Priyanka got her family kind of in check by the end of that. Alright, let's do your back, my actual favorite. But yeah. Maybe. The only print you're gonna be collecting in the next campaign is an in-law, if you know what I'm saying. Emmy, your wings are gonna have to be bigger, but it'll do for now. Doing alright. That cat emoji is so cute. I forgot how cute the cat emojis were on Google. there's I don't know, they're so cat. They're so cat. Like, I'm so used to like the Twitter and Discord cat emojis, and they're okay. They're okay, but the Google ones are so cute. Oh yeah. Oof, Emmy, have I ever drawn your profile proper? Close enough. This one right here. Gosh, Emmy, you're so cute. Hi. I still sometimes write emo poetry about Imran in the hopes that one day I'll just make them into like little comics. And then I never do. She's always a vibe, she's always a mood. Wrong? My pronouns are they, them. I like how I can like confidently say that because I remember a few years back I was so cagey about it. I remember someone sent me a Tumblr ask. Like, this was years back. This was when I was like, I don't know, 17 or something. But since I was like so cagey about it, and so like, I guess like also like at that time, I think I might have been younger. I don't know, cause like I've deleted it by now, I think, or at least I don't have access to it. I don't know, but I used to sort of hang around some people who weren't as like, I guess, open to like the idea of like non-binary people, and like would make fun of that stuff. And I wasn't necessarily like, oh yeah, fuck non-binary people, but I guess I was still in that camp of like, oh, it's silly, like people are just, they're so silly. But I remember someone asking me, just like very casually, just like, oh, I don't see it anywhere in your profile, and like it's not indicated anywhere, so like, you know, what are your pronouns? And I was just like, you know what, just actually, just use any pronouns for me. I'm totally like in tune and aligned with my assigned gender at birth, and like I'm totally fine, I'm totally chill. But I'm like so sick and tired of everyone asking me when it's like literally none of your business. And like I was just like so dramatic about it, and so like I don't know, it was just like, it's not that serious. I don't know why you're acting like this is a personal attack against you. It's not. It was just like so funny to think back and see myself trying to convince myself that like, oh yeah, I have like a totally normal relationship with my gender, and then also in the same breath I'm like having a mental breakdown because someone asked me my pronouns. So it's like, yeah, okay. Okay. Ugh, this horn is not gonna be fun to animate. I can feel it in my bones. I mean, the wings aren't gonna be fun either. None of this is. She's not animation friendly. And I'm not making her any more friendly. So it's like, girls, what are we doing? Alright, let's get your hair. Whoa, Miles Edgeworth, is this you? Oh, let's get the fuck here. Okay, I need that red back. This green is pissing me off. Hi, yeah, that was on me. I accidentally disabled it. You know, like a silly, goofy idiot. But now it's back. So, you know. Move that up. Okay. Let's do some expresiones. Oh. Oh, damn, girl. Thank you. I feel like I have the most inconsistent voice on earth. I've been drawing for a while. Since I was like, I want to say like properly since I was like 13. Like obviously like I drew as a kid and what have you, but like I didn't actually start taking it proper serious until I think I was about like 12, 13 or something, and then I was like, I'm gonna draw. So sun a separate layer? Okay, then we can be silly goofy all we want. Yeah, I feel like, you know, that's like prime age, especially since like, oh, I was gonna say since everyone's on like the internet like that time, but like I was on the internet much earlier, but you know, I guess like, I don't know, start forming more interest, beat me. I've been on the, it's crazy to me that I've been on the internet since I was like, since like I could have thoughts in my head. And it's like, I don't think that's good. So her name's Imran. She's, well, do you guys want to know the drama behind Imran? Because, like, it's a long story. It's a long story. It's dramatic. There's love. There's heartbreak. There's murder. Like, there's a lot. Like, there's so much. Okay. Me telling the story for the 50th time. Always excited. Okay, so. Oh, there's so much murder, you don't even know. Okay. Sorry. Let's give the preamble. Every stream a toast. Preamble. So this was a campaign that I did for 4 of my friends because I like to DM for parties of 4 because I find it the easiest to manage. You know, with like arcs and things like that, and just, you know, so on and so forth. Yada yada yada, right? And so the basic premise, so Mouse was playing a game from like their childhood or whatever, where it was like horse based. It was like Starshine Legacy. It's like Starshine Stables or something now. It's like Starshine Legacy or something, and because like a few of us were watching while Mouse streamed for us, and it was like this janky like 2000s game, and some of the story was like genuinely interesting, and Mouse or someone, I forget who, was just like, OMG, what if this was proper? Like what if there was like a proper like version of this story, or like what if we were horse girls, as in like, you know, the horse girl trope, and we were like D&D, and I was like, give me 2 weeks. And so I really did just take 2 weeks, sat down and like thought up this entire campaign, and like I did so much for that campaign. I did like homebrew classes, like their powers and stuff were like not based on like the D&D 5e classes at all. It was based on like a class-spec system. If you've ever seen or read Homestuck, it's like you have a class and then you have an aspect that influences that class, but also dually the class influences how the aspect manifests. It's a whole thing, doesn't matter. But anyway, so, you know, it's like, you know, 4 people, and it was like set on this fictional island in Scotland. It's like based in like the real world, and it's like quote unquote like it's modern, right? It was set in like 2020 or something, or whenever the fuck we started that campaign. And so everyone was like a horse girl trope, and they went to this special academy that was for like horse riding, and they all had like their own horses and so on. I won't go too in depth about the characters, like the PCs, because gosh, my brain is small and there's a lot to tell. There's a lot to tell, but I'll just do the basics. We had Priyanka, Petra, Alana, and Johnny. They all went to school, they all had different roles, and one way or another they like became friends, and like on like their first day of school, or like their first few weeks of school or something, because there was like a lot of this the campaign was like based in like, oh, like school drama and like, you know, relationships at school and stuff. And it's hard to talk and draw, I've come to see. I'm just gonna draw body instead of expression, because I feel like for expression my brain needs more. But anyway, so one night, like, they're all visited by like these wisps or whatever, and each of them have like sort of like a scary moment with these wisps, and then the next day or something, or that night, like they are able to talk to their horses or something, and they're led to like into this weird forest or whatever, where they meet like this like they're teleported into like this weird pocket dimension, and they meet this horse lady, not this one, like a different horse lady, and she's got like kind of opalescent skin, and she's crying tears that are glittering, and like her hair is really long and like silver, and like she's very like a very opalescent kind of like big horse lady thing, but she's got like 2 feet. She's not like a centaur or anything, but she's like just like, you know, this weird beautiful fey creature, and she explains to the gang that like the powers that be or something, the powers that be have chosen these 4 individuals to be the keepers or the holders of these special aspects: the heart, the mind, blood, and wait, what did I say? Heart, mind, spirit, blood. My brain is like shutting down, but it was like 4 of them, right? That like each represent like a physical and like a spiritual or like a metaphysical version of like your being, right? So it's like blood is physical and the mind is like not. But anyway, so she's just like, you know, so sorry gang, you guys are gonna have to save the world, you know. Yeah, her name was Celestia, but we kept calling her Celestia. Yeah, so she got pony renamed. Anyway, so Celestia tells the gang that, you know, there's this evil horse lady, Emeran. This girl right here, she's Emeran. And they like Celestia tells them like, you know, she's trying to end the world and kill everyone, because she's like a horrible person or whatever. And the gang is like, ooh, guess that's on us now. And so like they're helping Celestia unlock sort of like these old fey ruins on the actual island itself. Like they're normal teenagers and no one else knows like that they're doing this, but like, you know, hashtag teen life. I do have a drawing of Celestia. Let me grab her. Do I have a relevant image of Celestia is the question. That is the question. Do I have an image of Celestia the way that the gang saw her? I have an old image of Celestia. I guess I can bring that up, even though I don't particularly like it. Celestia, honey, where are you? Celestia! Are you in 2021? Celestia? Where are you, gang? Q3. Q2. There she is. Anyway, this is what she looked like. It's old drawing. Don't even. No, it's like they were still doing like their school stuff and like attending their families and what have you. It's just that also on the side, they were sneaking off and like, you know, exploring the island and, you know, almost getting killed by real life people. So like they're on this island, and like like I said, the island is like just like a fictional small island in Scotland called Barholm. And it was shaped like a unicorn head. And so like they're doing stuff, they're bonding with Celestia, and she's kind of becoming like a very like maternal figure to them, because like she's really helping them through like this magic bullshit, and she's like she expresses that she feels very sorry to these kids that they have to deal with like this bullshit, essentially, that they've just been thrust this like responsibility onto them, and that's like not very fair to them. And you know, they're doing their shit, and every time they encounter Emran, so like Emran was really built up in the sense of like they did not see Emran for a really long time. They saw her doing fuck shit. She killed a man. Like they didn't see her, but they saw the guy that they were fighting, like his heart was ripped out of his chest by like just like a hand all of a sudden, fucking alien style, and it was dragged off into the dark. And then one of their classmates got possessed, kind of, or not possessed, but like manipulated by Imran. And then he was killed. She killed a teenager and cannibalized his body. So she's like not chill. She's not chill. She's very much like, I am out to get you, I am out to kill you, right? So, you know, she's kind of fucked up, and she's evil, and they hadn't seen her up until this point. Again, like the only thing that they had seen or like heard of her were just like a few phrases that she had said, and like glowing green eyes in the dark and shit, and they're like, what the fuck, right? And well, I guess it's not technically cannibalizing, that's true, but she did like eat his flesh. So it's like, you know. Anywho, so, and this is where I get a little devious in it. So like I said, up until this point, you know, yeah, she's a big lesbian. Up until this point, everyone, but like, you know, Celestia said that Emran was like fucked up and evil, and Emran is just proving herself to be very much fucked up and evil. And you know, the gang like kind of parses the fact that like, so Celestia had explained that she and Imran were the last of the Fae. Like Imran had killed all the other Fae, and Celestia and Imran is what's left of them because of this horrible genocide that Imran did on their people. And they kind of parsed that Celestia, even though like she says that she wants to stop Emeran, it feels like she has ulterior motives, in the sense that like she might love Emeran in a way that's like her loyalty might sway, or like she won't do what is needed when the time comes down to it, and you know they need to kill Emeran, or whatever it is that they need to do with it, right? Like I feel like killing is like the obvious choice because she's kind of like a menace. But anywho, so the gang is pretty scared of Emeran. And so during one of their little magical trials that's like not part of the real world, hi Tuckin, just explaining some D&D backstory to this character. And so during one of like their little trial things where Emeran tried to kill them using one of their classmates as a kind of vessel to kill them with, I made them all do like a will save, and this moment for me as a DM couldn't have gone any better. I was like shitting and praying to the gods above that Mouse's character Petra failed this will save. I was just like on my hands and knees begging. I was begging whatever the fucking gods were. I was begging them. I was like, I want everyone to succeed except for Petra. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I was living. It was invigorating. You don't understand. Everything went exactly as I wanted it to, which is like, it's not the most unusual for me, in the sense like I know how to set things up to be in my favor. But this was like the one thing where I was like praying to the gods of luck that this, like, I wanted this so bad. I wanted this so bad. And so Petra, Mouse's character, she was a spirit diviner, or that was the classification, yes, a spirit diviner. Which just means that like her character also was just like very indecisive and couldn't make decisions, and her entire kit was based around having to make a decision every day on like what kind of diviner she wanted to be that day. It was more technical, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, because of that, that's why I really wanted this to be like her thing. And so we ended the session as usual, as you do, you know, and everyone, you know, was just like, yeah, great session, whatever, you know, I guess we'll find out what those will saves were next time. And it's like, haha, yeah, you will. And so everyone left, and I was like, oh, Mouse, you know, and Mouse was also like asking me about like some technical stuff with like the character sheets. And I was like, oh, great, let's hop in a private call so we're not bothering anyone else. And, you know, they can go like to the general chat in our other server and it'll be fine, it'll be great. And so we go off into like a private chat, and she starts like going off about, oh, you know, can you explain to me about how this class stuff works? You know, I'm a little confused about what you've written down. I was like, no, what are you doing? The day ends for everyone else, but not for you, bestie, not for you. And I started DMing a private little session for Mouse, and I was, because again, Mouse was the only, like, Petra was the only one who failed that will save. And basically what that will save was Emeran trying to get into one of like the players' heads to be able to speak with them. And so she gets Petra and Petra wakes up in like this weird misty, like in between planes, like similar vibes to like Celestia's domain, which is like this beautiful, like always sort of like a sunset sunrise moment where the sky is purple and there's stars and it's glittery and it's beautiful, and it's like the same vibes except sinister. It's darker, there's like a horrible dark cloud of mist coming her way and everything. And like again, this was like several months into the campaign and still no one had seen Emerald, and I had been hyping her up until this point. I was like, when you see Emerald, like to everyone, I was like, when you see Emerald, you guys are gonna flip. You're like, she's so sexy, she's so hot, you guys don't even know. And like everyone had also just assumed, like based on like just vibes alone, that she was like, you know, dark aesthetic with green flame powers. Like black and green was like her color palette or whatever. It's like that was assumed, but no one knew what she fucking looked like. And so while I have Mouse alone here in this call, I'm like you know, explaining to like, you know, Petra and Mouse's character that like, oh, like this dark mist or whatever, and you see from out of the mist like this really long pale hand with like large claws just like extend and like beckon you in. And you know, they talk outside the mist for a little, and then Emerald convinces Petra to like get her to like just, you know, come into my domain, walk in. And you know, Petra does, and I'm like, Mouse, do you want to see Emerald? And I get to show her Emerald, and I'm like, ah, like losing my mind, because I've kept the secret with me for so fucking long, and I wanted someone to see her, and it was like a joyous and great moment. But anyway, so Emerald gives Petra an ultimatum of just like, hey, that last battle that we had kind of fucked me up and kind of fucked my power up. So let's strike a deal. I need you to give me something, and in return, I'll make your specific trial not happen. Like, this will be your trial. Your trial will be this deal that we're gonna make. And if you don't go through with the deal, I'm gonna kill your best friend, who was another player character. And Mouse was like, you can't do that? You can't do that? That's another player character. You can't do that. And I was like, you don't know what I have planned. In my head, I'm bluffing out of my ass, right? I'm just like, I can't kill another player character. Are you crazy? But I'm still doing it. I'm still like, but anyway, and I tell Mouse that like, oh, you're not allowed to talk about this with our friends. Like, like, in the same way that this is private information to Petra, this is private information between us. And until you reveal it, like, in canon, like, among the other people, like, you can't mention it to them. And that was also around the time when we went on, like, a little hiatus, for I forget what reason. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we went on a little hiatus, so Mouse was like left with this information essentially, like, to keep for, oh wow, it was like a few months or something. And it was like, in casual conversation, I would drop like little jokes and hints that only Mouse and I would get, because obviously no one else was privy to our information. I need to sneeze. Okay. But anywho, and it's like, you know, absolute torture it was. And so a few times in game, in Mouse's DMs, I would like I would roleplay as Emerald during sessions. So it's like I'm DMing and the characters are like having their little conversations, and then I'm in like Mouse's DMs, like, and so this is what Emerald says to you, and like Emerald is just like taunting Petra like the entire time, and it's funny to me. But anyway, eventually, you know, Mouse pulls me aside before before one of our sessions, because she wants to speak to Emerald. Like, she wants to set up like a little thing. Oh, thank you. That's a while, honestly. Embarrassing. Anyway, like, she wants to set up like a little thing with Emerald. And you know, Petra calls Imran on her bluff of like, actually, Alana, my bestie, is really strong and powerful. And you can't touch her really, so, you know, fuck you, fuck off. And Imran's like, you know what? You're right. Alana would be a difficult target to kill. But your parents, or rather like your mom, your friend's family, they don't have any magic powers. They're easy pickings. So either you give me your magical little pet, or your family and your friends' families are gonna die. You're gonna die. And Petra was like, I can't keep doing this on my own. I'm gonna like tell my friends or whatever. And before like Petra could tell her friends about what had been going on, the fact that like Imran had invaded her mind and was just like there all the time, privy to all of like their conversations, everyone saw that Petra's trial had begun with like this blue flash in the sky, and then Petra was like hyperventilating and trying to like describe essentially like what the fuck just happened, and that all their families are in danger, whatever. And it was just like this really intense moment where the gang found out that like, again, Imran is a bad person who is not above killing like literal kids and other people in general. Like, she's not above all of these horrible things. And also like, she's got beef with Celestia, who up until like this point they've been like rocking with Celestia. Celestia is their bestie, Celestia is everything. There's at some point where Imran says some things that makes them go and Celestia does some things that makes them go and they don't trust Celestia anymore. But it's still from like a perspective of like, they don't know if they can trust her to make the right decisions, and not that like Celestia is evil in the same way that Imran is evil. Because again, Imran is just like, she's evil, she's an evil person. This preamble was important to set the tone of everything, just to describe to you the way that Imran is, and the way that like everyone saw Imran, and like, you know, the expectations that everyone had for Imran and Celestia to an extent, but like more so Imran, because again, she's this ruthless person. And so some fuck shit goes on, like a lot of fuck shit goes on. Skip to like near the end of the campaign, and it's like the big lore drop campaign. A bunch of stuff had happened. I think one other child had died, and it was like the ex-best friend of one of the player characters, Priyanka, her best friend, Marlene, you know, was in cahoots with Imran, and then she ended up dying, and they found like a grave thing where Imran was like feasting on their remains and stuff, and it was like fucked up and evil. But anyway, one of their horses, Alana's horse, Cherry, because she's a magic horse. Marlene! Marlene, another little gay moment that ended in tragedy. Love that. Anyway, Cherry, the horse, did this ritual spell essentially to get all the player characters like teleported into a very sophisticated memory simulation. Hi CMG, haven't seen you in a minute, then again I haven't been here in a minute, but like this very sophisticated memory simulation, which would just help them understand things about the past and how to kill Imran, because Imran is she's like a keeper, which is like a special rank of fae in like a thing, and they're extremely hard to kill, and it's like you can't kill them just like normally or whatever. You have to have some other bullshit. Anyway, so they go into this memory simulation, and again, they've only seen Imran in this form. Like, they've only seen her all fucked up and evil and, you know, scary and murderous and just, you know, evil. But let me open up the images. But when they get transported to the Fae realm thousands of years ago, right? They are met with 4 people, 2 of which are very like familiar looking, and that's Celestia, who has wings and horns now, hello, Emran, who isn't a freak of nature, and these 2 other people who are like very similar looking, like species wise, to these 2 bitches. And they're like, what the fuck is going on? And so these people explain that, oh, we're the keepers of the aspects, and you are the holders of the aspects, and we're gonna help you train so you don't fucking die. And they see through interaction that like Emeran, who like insists upon everyone to call her Emmy, is really nice and sweet, and she's kind of shy and she's not very sure of herself, and she's just like, you know, yeah, they all got the turtleneck fit, that's the uniform, and like she's just like sort of shy and you know, not sure of herself, and she just introduces herself like very meekly. Like compared to the other 3 people there, like she seems like the most like least threatening and has like the least authority, that or like seems least like an authority figure, and more just like a pal and a friend, right? Like it's like the difference between like a 23-year-old teacher and like a 60-year-old teacher who's been in this bitch for like ever, right? And she's just like, you know, like, I'm Emmy, hi, you know, if you guys need anything, I'm always here, this and that, which again, very different than what they're used to with, you know, killing children and eating their flesh. And then they see Celestia, who again has been very nurturing and very motherly towards them, and very like caring, I guess, to an extent. Like there was a moment where like she tucked them all in bed and gave them cookies, and it was like they felt so warm and sweet inside their souls. They didn't think that like Celestia was this all good person still, but they didn't think she was a bad person. Like again, like I said, they just thought that perhaps her heart was not, you know, her heart was gonna betray the gang, in the sense that like her loyalty or her love for Emmy might, you know, be in conflict, you know? Yeah, I am talking about my OC CMG, or rather a D&D campaign that I ran that involves this character that I'm drawing right now. But anyway, so they exist in the simulation for a little, and they find out that like all of the lies or all of the things that Celestia had said about Emran being a ruthless keeper, someone who was extremely mean to people, who had like a high death rate among her students, those were all lies, and were actually things that were true about Celestia. Celestia was the ruthless teacher. Celestia was the one whose students died the most because of how hard she would go on them. And she was just like a very disconnected, cold, calculating person who was very strict and very mean. And Emmy, meanwhile, was like so sweet and nice and just, you know, kind of unsure of herself, and just, you know, she was just so sweet. So this is where I'm gonna kind of disconnect from talking about like keeping up with the POVs of the players, because it's gonna get a little confusing. So essentially all you gotta know is that the players are experiencing this timeline through multiple generations of people that they're possessing. It's convoluted, don't even worry about it. So the keepers of the aspect are these Fae guardians assigned to basically be sort of archivists and bookkeepers of people who hold the aspects. And the aspects are like these weird magical things that the secret Fae government assigns to people to experiment on, essentially, because it's this new kind of magic that they're not sure about, and so they're like, we need to see how it functions, how it works. But the thing is, the way that it interacts with Fae folk is that it cuts their life expectancy dramatically. Like if they lived, I don't know, like 600 years, now they'd only live 300 with the fact that they're holding an aspect. But they wanted to see how they could harness it, right? And so they convinced the public that having an aspect or being assigned an aspect was just destiny, and not the fact that like the Fae elders were imparting it onto people. So it was like this whole thing, and it was like once you had the aspects, you were kept away from society in like this castle place with the keepers who would monitor you, train you, and do all these different things. And each of the people, let me just bring them up again. Each of these people were holders of like, or keepers of different aspects. So Celestia was the keeper of heart, Emeran was the keeper of blood, Amaris was the keeper of spirit, and Flyra was the keeper of the mind. And so they would all train all of the aspect holders no matter what, but they all had like specific aspects that they were in charge of, and in charge of like keeping track of, essentially. Whoa, are you guys hearing that wind? That's crazy. Anyway, honestly, don't even get me. I want to do like a series on this D&D campaign because it's insane in the head. Anyway, so actually let me bring that up again. I want Emmy. She does look the youngest. She is the youngest, I think, by like a year. They're all in like their mid-20s, but Emran's definitely the youngest at like, I think she was 24 or something, and everyone else was like, I think the oldest was 28 with Amaris. But anyway, you don't even fucking know. So basically the keepers of the aspects are kind of mystical as well, in the sense that like they're not like other Fae. They also came into existence in similar proximity. Oh, you'll see, V, you'll see. They came into similar proximity to when like the aspects came, right? And they had just like a special connection with magic and with the aspects that the elders did not understand. So even just being a keeper, it's not as prestigious as having like an aspect, but you know, you were still pretty high up there. Sorry, I need some water. Anyway, so basically Celestia was born into the elder circle. She was raised by them, essentially, and she is basically the perfect candidate to be a keeper. Like, again, she's just like this cold and calculating person who's really good at her job and really good at being like an archivist or whatever. And she was raised by the elders, whereas both Flyra and Amaris were taken in after it was discovered that they were seekers like later in their life, or that they were keepers later in their life. And Emeran, she was taken in by the elders out of pity because she kind of just like rocked up on their doorstep one day, and they're like, what the fuck are we gonna do with this one, gang? And one of the elders who like, I guess like took a liking to Emeran was like, we can't throw her out, come on, let's just keep her, right? And so she was kept, and Celestia never really liked Emeran. Not for any like particular reason, but it was just more of just like, you're a stranger and I don't really know you, and I'm here to do my work. Meanwhile, you're just a nobody. Like, you're not even a keeper, you're just a nobody, and I don't have time for you. And this was like when they were children, right? And so eventually Amaris was brought in, and like, again, this was like when they were much younger, and when Amaris was brought in, she and Emeran really hit it off. Baby Emmy. Okay, let's draw a little Emmy. She and Emerald and Amaris really hit it off, and they were like good friends. And like Celestia did not care. like she genuinely did not care. Like it didn't bother her that like Amaris and Imran were friends. It was like you know, she was just like, you know, this is, I have nothing to do with this. I'm doing my work, whatever. And like basically like that's how it was for a little while. And then Fleera came in. Like Fleera was introduced to the keepers, and then that's when it was also revealed like, oh, actually Imran is also a keeper. Shocker, right? They're like, glad we kept this one, I guess. But anyway, when Fleera was introduced to the squad, Celestia was like head over fucking heels for her. Like Fleera is like the big red-haired lady. This one's Fleera, and this one's Amaris. But Celestia was head over fucking heels. Oh, bye, Sam. Head over heels for her when she was introduced to the gang. She was just like, my heart, I'm in love with her. Oh my god, right? And it's like she was just like in love with her. Meanwhile, also, Amaris had the biggest fucking crush on Celestia. She was like, oh my god, Celestia, my heart, it beats for you. She didn't tell Celestia yet, but like she was in love with Celestia. And again, Celestia just did not care for Amaris or Emeran. Like she was like, I don't care, whatever. But Fleera did it for her. She was like, I'm in love with you. But Celestia is not a very direct person. So, you know, and she just assumed that at some point Fleera would come to her, obviously, because she's Celestia, she's awesome, she's cool, right? But what she didn't know is that Fleera, she likes Celestia, but she not in a romantic sense. Like, Fleera's just like a nice person. So she was like, whatever, I like you, you're my friend. Amaris and Fleera end up dating. Like, they end up becoming a couple. Like, they're in love now, right? This is, okay, I gotta get the fucking charts out. So these two are canonically in love, right? She likes her, but it's one-sided. And she likes her, but it's also one-sided. Amaris Appreciation Gang, let's go, right? And these two are besties. Yes, I'm using the Homestuck symbols. These two are besties. But these two are besties. Oh, and these two are also friends. Kind of. We'll get into that later. But Amaris kind of also has like small romantic feelings towards Emeran. So once they're a little older and like their dynamics are more established, you know, Amaris and Fleera are together. Amaris and Emeran are still kind of friends. Like they're still friends, and then Celestia is older and she's like, why is no one obsessed with me? Or rather, why is Fleera not obsessed with me? And so, because Emeran loves Celestia, Emeran will do anything for her. She's her literal like lapdog. Like she will do anything for her, and so she basically does whatever Celestia says. And Celestia at this point knows that Emeran likes her in like a romantic way. Honestly, Celestia did pick me in high school, that's real. But yeah, she knows that Emeran likes her in that way. And it is this like kind of fucked up toxic moment where Celestia likes the feeling of being wanted by someone, and she likes the feeling of having control over Emeran, because she does not have control over Fleera and she does not have Fleera. And so in her head, she's like, okay, I'll get together with Emeran to make Fleera jealous, but that doesn't work out because Fleera doesn't give a shit she likes Amaris. Like, they are in love together. They are in the gay together. And so Flyra is just nothing but supportive and happy for the two of them. But Celestia doesn't love Emeran. She's just using her. And Emeran knows this. She knows that Celestia doesn't truly love her. But the fact that Celestia at all has acknowledged her and has accepted her in this relationship to begin with is good enough. Like, both of them are using each other for their own emotional gain, but neither of them are liking it, essentially. It's still unrequited, and it's still one-sided, and it's still kind of silly and fucked up. But anyway, back to Amaris and Emran. Celestia starts to isolate Emran from Amaris, who is her only real proper friend, because in Celestia's mind, Amaris has already taken Flyra away from her, so she's not gonna let Amaris take Emeran from her in like a possessive sense, in a way of just like, this is my territory, I'm not gonna let you ruin anything else for me. And so Celestia distances, like I said, Emeran from Amaris, and Amaris is like, what the fuck? No, because Amaris only wants what's best for Emeran. And like, they're such good friends, and these three are the poly that could have been, but Emeran is a dumb bitch who has bad taste and will never change. And again, she's kind of being emotionally manipulated and degraded, and again, she kind of knows this, and she's not doing anything about it because she values Celestia's attention so much. She's obsessed with her in a way that's not healthy, and this is the only way that she can get that validation, and it's fucked. And this is where we get into extra convoluted territory. Hope you're ready, gang. Strap in. So, let's reestablish things. Amaris and Flyra together, and they're in love. Amaris also likes Emeran in a romantic sense. Flyra likes Emeran kind of like that, but it's like, you know, yeah, it will be available later in my playlist for live streams. Like, Flyra is also just like, you know, I'd love to take Emeran out of that situation. It would be great if she came with us, but you know, it is what it is. Celestia loves Flyra, it's unrequited. Emeran loves Celestia, it's unrequited, but Celestia and Emeran are together in a very toxic relationship. Celestia hates Amaris because Amaris is everything that she wants to be but isn't. She is smart, she is put together, and she is the lover of Flyra, and also she could get Emeran if she wanted to, but she can't because Celestia has such a fucking grip on Emeran. Anyway, so, because Celestia is such a big-brained, galaxy-brained idiot, she in her head is like, so all of my life problems stem from Amaris. Obviously, that's what's happening. And so she's like, I'm going to create a little plan. And so this is her plan. She's going to use some very sophisticated magic to create a weapon that is powerful enough to just kill a keeper, because a keeper can kill another keeper easy, but especially with a fucking powerful weapon, no problem, Bob. She's going to transform herself to look like Emeran, kill Amaris, frame Emeran for that murder, and that means only Celestia and Flyra will remain, and that obviously means that Flyra has no other choice but to fall in love with Celestia. It's a foolproof plan. And she goes ahead with this, and it's successful. She kills Amaris, blames it on Emeran, convinces the elders that Emeran is the one that killed Amaris. The elders believe Celestia. Emeran gets sent to Super Gay Hell, basically super gay hell. I call it super gay hell because it's just a silly name, but it is the fairy version of hell. Keepers are immortal. Like, they don't die naturally by age, and so time is kind of meaningless to them. But fairy hell is essentially this pocket dimension in which you're sent to, and it's essentially like the back rooms, if you know what that is. It's like these like liminal spaces that's like fucked up, and it's like these endless hallways and rooms and everything, right? And it's like really dark, and time there is experienced differently. Like 1 second in the outside world is like 100 years in like this fucked up space. And also you're constantly being chased by a being that is like hunting you, and you can never rest and you can never die, and it is literal torture through time and anxiety. Like, it is a fucked up place, right? And so Emerald gets sent there on like the false, like, because she was like framed for murder, right? And so she gets sent to super gay hell. And so Flyra is emo because her wife just died or was murdered by their friend who, you know, really meant a lot to them. And so Celestia's like, oh, Flyra's mourning. Oh my god, that's so dumb. Whatever, I'll give her like a couple 100 years, and like she should be over Amaris by then. And then obviously she'll want to date me. Duh, right? Obviously. So, you know, Celestia's waiting it out. She's like, oh, when will she be done with her emotions? Oh my god. Because, you know, Celestia doesn't view love as like feelings, but rather the possession over someone, really, like to just own them. But anyway, so that goes on for like a few thousand years or something, right? Again, time means nothing to them. And somehow Emerald figures out a way to best the beast in the liminal space and consume some of its power and escape gay hell, right? And so she's at a gay hell, which should be impossible to do, but, you know, she's built different. Anyway, so she escapes out of prison, and she goes and she begs the elders, like, please don't send me back in there. That was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. I've changed, I promise. Please don't send me back in. Oh my god, right? And the elders are like, you know, it's been a minute, and for you it's been a long ass time. So you know what? This was supposed to be a lifetime thing, but it's okay. I think we can let you out now. And Celestia's like, what? At this, because she's just like, she was counting on the fact that Celestia, or that Emerald was gonna be gone for good, like for forever. You know, like for forever. And she's not, so there's that. So, you know, what's up with that? But like, Celestia's like, it's whatever. It's fine. Like, she doesn't, like, she's not gonna ruin my plan of getting with Flyra because it's Emerald. Come on, like, she's like my little dog, essentially. Like, she'll do anything for me, it's fine. I can just have her as a little pet on the side while me and Flyra live out the happiest days of our lives, obviously. And so Emerald, who grew a bit of a backbone in hell, so Emerald's also quite the thinker, as you'll come to find out. She also devises a plan. She, in her head, is like, Celestia hurt me so bad. She put me through all that hell after I did nothing but love her. And so she's going to pay for that. And so she makes a plan that is the same as Celestia's, except she's going to kill Flyra for, like, to hurt Celestia. Because in her head, she's like, I mean nothing to her. But Flyra means everything to her. So if I take away the one thing that she loves... yeah, I was role-playing DMing this. It was a big-ass session anyway. If I take away the thing that she loves the most. That's how I can hurt her. Because there's nothing that I can do to her that will, like, hurt her in the way that I've been hurt. And so she makes this plan to kill her good friend Flyra. And when she confronts Flyra, Flyra is nothing but understanding. She, like, apologizes to Emeran and tells her that, like, you know, I know that you didn't kill Amaris. Like, I know someone else did it. I don't know who, but I know someone else, like, killed Amaris, and it wasn't you. And I'm so sorry that, like, you went through all of this, and that, like, you were always treated like an outsider, like, no matter what. And, you know, maybe we can figure this out together, and we can, you know, we can just work this out or whatever. And Emeran is just like, she's kind of, she's bitter and she's angry, and, like, she wants to go through with her decision. And Flyra is just here just like, you know, I know you're, like, you're not a bad person. I know, like, this isn't you. We can figure this out. But god damn it, shit's fucked. And Emeran kills Flyra, and Flyra isn't mad at her. And, you know, because Flyra is, like, the Keeper of the Mind, so she has kind of, like, mind and sight powers, and so she gleams into Emeran's mind, and she sees that Emeran is doing this for Celestia, and that she still is madly in love with Celestia. And Flyra just embraces Emeran while she's bleeding and dying, and she hugs her, and she reassures her that everything will be okay, and that she should do better for herself, and that she won't find happiness with Celestia, who is a bad person. But even in her death, she reassures Emeran that she'll be okay, that she's not a bad person, and that she doesn't blame her for doing this. And there's a very brief moment where Emeran is like, oh no, like, did I do the wrong thing? Did I make the wrong decision? But it's too late, and Flyra dies. And the elders find out that, like, wait, you did an actual murder? And they find out that Celestia is the one that murdered Amaris, and they're like, you know what? The both of you are fucked up and horrible. Get out. We're not even gonna send you to Gay Hill. You're going to the human realm, and you're gonna stay there. Fuck you. And so they're kind of stripped of a bit of their power, and they're banished to the human realm. And they, you know, they rule over as, like, queens for a little, hand in unlovable hand. You know, Emeran is like, I'm ready to move on and move forward with you, Celestia. And Celestia's, like, fuming. She's like, you killed Flyra, the only person I ever fucking loved. You're a worthless piece of shit. You mean nothing to me. I hate you. And, you know, so they rule over that little section of the human realm for a bit, and then they're both bitter and angry and sad, and then they make a plan to get back at the elders for banishing them into the human realm. And so what they do is they track down the holders of the aspect, because, like, there's some mixing between, like, the human realm and the Fae realm, some bullshit that's not even important. And basically they track down holders of the aspect, and they eat them, kill them and eat them for their power. And when you're a Fae who cannibalizes other Fae, that's how you get all fucked up. That's how you start looking like this, right? That's how you go from, like, standing on 2 legs and being a cute little girl to being this thing, right? Because they cannibalized holders of the aspect, and they got really juiced up on it. And, like, don't forget the way that Celestia looked. This is how Celestia presented herself to the gang. And this is how Celestia actually looks. Like, I haven't rendered her anything proper because this was a while ago, but this is how she actually looks. And there was, like, this really funny moment that I had a while ago that was like really good foreshadowing for this, but no one knew and I was giggling. Anyway, this is how she actually looks, but she presented herself differently so that they would trust her. Anywho, so they cannibalize and they do all that stuff, and then they break into the Fae realm again and then do a genocide. Like, I want to establish how they do a genocide together, hand in lovable hand. And meanwhile, again, Emran is doing this because she loves Celestia. She's doing all of this not because she wants to, but because she thinks it'll make Celestia see value in her. She thinks it'll make Celestia think differently of her and see that she has purpose and she can have meaning to her and that they can be in love together. But Celestia, she only did this so that she would have an easier time with killing everyone in the Fae realm, and then she was planning on killing Emran, and then just like living her life alone, or like trying to recreate the Fae realm on her own to like her desires. And you know, Celestia tries to kill Emran, and Emran is like, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Are you fucking joking?" And so Emran is like fed up, and she's like, "Fine, you know what?" And so she grabs Celestia, like Emran grabs Celestia, and she banishes them both to the human realm. She banishes them both to the human realm. She's like, "Fuck you. If I'm gonna be miserable, then so are you." And since then, Emran has been trying to kill Celestia, actually. Like, she's actually been trying to kill her. And Celestia's been just like, "Oh my god, I'm so over this." And that's like a couple hundred years of that, and that's where we start with the campaign, right? That's when the kids are bestowed powers through Celestia. So Celestia sees these kids and thinks, these guys are great candidates for the aspects. And if I give them aspects and tell them that Emran is evil, then they'll have to go kill Emran. Duh, great. So she puts on this fake facade of like a very caring and wounded individual who has been like, you know, hurt by Emran and who's lost everything by Emran, and tells them to essentially go do her work for her. And you know, all of that, and like this whole time, like, don't get me wrong, Emran is a bad person. Emran has done evil and horrible things, and her motivations haven't been the most concrete or great. She doesn't value human life in the same way that she would value Fae life, because, you know, she just doesn't care. She only cares about one thing, and that's revenge. But the gang saw how wronged she was by like everyone in her life, essentially, especially by like, I say everyone, not like Flyra and Namaris, but like wronged by the elders and by especially Celestia, and how fucked up they treated her. And they were like, "You know what, Emran, we're kind of on your side and we want to help you kill Celestia." And Emran's like, "Hang on, you do? You believe me? Like, you don't think..." She's like, she's a little shaken. She's a little shocked of just like, "Wait, you guys actually want to help me? Like, you want to kill Celestia with me, for me? You want to do that?" And the gang's like, "Yep, we saw what happened. We saw the last 1,000 years. And you know what? Fuck Celestia." And so the gang, they all go together to go kill Celestia. But then when it's time to do the showdown, Celestia puts on her little charm and she's like, "Emran, come on. Like, we've dealt with things privately together all the time. Are you seriously gonna let some humans like mingle with our business?" And that little show of kindness, that little ounce of attention, and Emran's like, "Fuck, I'm down bad." And she joins Celestia's side to fight the kids. But then a turn of events, because during like the fight, one of the players, Priyanka, she heals Emerald because she was gonna die, and that little bit of kindness, like genuine kindness, that like even though they're fighting, even though, you know, all this is happening, they're not trying to use her, and they're showing her kindness and friendship, and she's just like, damn, what the fuck? Fuck. Damn. And so she helps the gang, she secretly helps the gang kill Celestia by doing this extremely powerful move that she cuts her own life to like, it was like a big damage, and she survived on 1 hit point, but she cuts her own life to inflict wound onto Celestia, and so she's like, what the fuck? Because Emerald had been healing Celestia up until this point, and in doing so, she knocked a lot of Celestia's life away, and that enabled the players to be able to finish her off. And after Celestia was killed, like she was proper killed, like Emerald just broke down crying, and she was like, no, kill me too, I don't want to be away from her, like I don't know how to live without her, like I don't know how to be a person without her. And then they were like, Emerald, you've got some shit to make up for, you know, like you fucked a lot of people over, you killed a lot of people, but you know, we're still gonna extend kindness and friendship to you because we see the way that you've been hurt, and that doesn't excuse your actions, and that doesn't mean you're not gonna spend the rest of your life trying to make up for it, but you don't have to be that miserable person. And so the day was saved through the power of friendship. Imran was shown kindness and friendship properly through thick and thin, after everything she's been through and after everything she's been done. And you know, she helped rebuild the Fae Realm. She's atoning for her actions every single day. And yeah, that's the story of dramatic murder lesbians and how the power of friendship saved the day. Yeah. It's a really convoluted and long story, I know, but like, isn't it just fun? Isn't it like so dramatic and gay and, you know, yeah, that's the story of Emran. And like the way that I'm saying it now is like not the best way to describe or say or whatever, even though like it gets the information across, but like I wish you guys could have experienced what it was like to have that build up of having this perception of Emran as this awful, evil individual who, you know, she was kind of, I guess, one note in that sense of just like, she just wanted to watch the world burn. And Celestia was this complex person who had complex feelings towards this bad person, and it was like, it seemed to be going that typical route of like, Celestia is not all she's made up to be, but like, they didn't know it was to that extent. They didn't know that Celestia was this shitty of a fucking person. Like, I wish you guys had that same build up, because the payoff to all of this, I cannot tell you. First of all, it was fun to DM, but second of all, I think I can speak for my players because they've told me that, you know, what a build up, what a moment, like, wow, you know? And Zareen, who was like Emran's biggest fucking hater, everyone was like, you know, I hate Emran, yeah, she's a bitch, I don't care like how she looks, I don't care if her design is hot, like, it does not matter, fuck Emran. And then so quick it's like Team Emmy, and it was like, honestly, one of my proudest DM moments. I strive every day to be the DM that I was DMing that campaign, because so big brained, it was so good, it was so much fun, like, come on, it was so great, it was fantastic. But yeah, Imran has become one of my favorite characters that I have because of how complex of a person she is. She's just, you know, again, she's just a complex individual. And like with all of my D&D campaigns, a lot of the NPCs, like both good and bad, draw like from aspects of myself and obviously like the people around me, but like Emeran is basically if I made every bad decision my entire life and if I always listened to my worst thoughts and desires. Like she is like that bitter part of myself that's also kind of pathetic, and it's like obviously it's not fully me because it's just like derived so concentrated from that emotion, and then from that it's like spawned into another person. But you know, because of that, like the want and the desire and that obsession and that compulsion and that angst and that want and need for validation and attention, like I'd look at her and I'm like, damn girl, you need therapy. But it's like, again, she's just like such a complex individual, and like she's so compelling to me, and I'm just like, I love you. I love you so much. And so I'm always thinking about her, like not to ride my own dick, but like she's a compelling character. She's very interesting. Those eyes. I don't think I'm gonna get to animating tonight, gang. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just trying to like get a feel for her expressions and stuff. Also, I cried real tears when I was DMing well, because like Emeran had like her whole breakdown of this like you know, just like, what am I gonna do without Celestia? And she was like crying her eyes out because, you know, the one person who she was living for, she killed, or she helped kill, and, you know, real complex emotions there. But I was also crying real tears because in my head I was just like, we've reached the end of the campaign. This is the end, this is it. My labor, my love, my heart, my everything that I've poured into it, like, it's over now. And I was like crying. I don't think anyone could tell that I was crying because I was like, quote unquote, like, fake doing a crying voice while also doing Imran's voice. I don't think I can still do Imran's voice, I'm gonna lie. I mean, I probably could if I remembered, like, I sat down and I was like, okay, let's feel out Imran's voice. It's not that hard to do, it's just that, you know, it takes a little bit of practice, until I get the feel for it again. But yeah, I was just like crying as well, and I was just like, ooh. But yeah, I don't think anyone could tell that I was actually crying, because it was masked by my fake crying. Yeah, I think I'd have to do like the Hello Petra bit several times. It's like, hang on, I'm gonna mute myself because I feel like I feel embarrassed every time I do the Hello Petra. I don't think I can still do it. I don't. It's not the vibe. Like, I can still put my voice back here because she had like this rasp, I think. Also, I'm kind of whispering because it's like, haha. But like, she was like kind of like this, but it wasn't exactly it. She was a lot more strained and a lot more sensual. I don't know. I can't remember. I've forgotten like her cadence as well. Ooh, I like this one. It's a little green. Dang, girl, it is so windy outside. I love her dramatic little, like, this moment with like her chest. I think it's like silly. She's kind of like a fucking robot. Kind of. I mean, I don't know, making videos is hard. And I don't want to do speed paints. So, I don't know. I'm thinking hard. But yeah. Maybe. There you go. But I mean, like, that's her general shape. She's like a shoulder pad mom. Also, I have a tendency to draw really long necks, just like even on normal people. And, I literally was like, actually, the Fae people canonically have long necks. So no one can tell me otherwise. I say no one. I do mean this is I say directed. Anytime I would draw Zareen would remind me that like I drew the neck way too long. But now she has no jurisdiction here. Because this is how they're supposed to be. Alright, I think that I am done. I say I'm done. I'm not done in general. I'll probably stream this again at some other point. But for now, I think I'll pack it up and go. Oh my god, the wind outside is going crazy. Little stick figure Imran. Yeah, I'm tired. It's 2 a.m. I think that's where we're gonna end it. That's where we're gonna say goodnight. So anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for once again listening to me ramble about my OCs and my D&D campaigns and so on and so forth. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. And good night. Thank you for